Hello everybody, welcome back to Kanga TV, home of North Melbourne fans. Welcome to the final word ahead of tomorrow's game against Port Adelaide. A bit of final word, a bit of team chat. I just want to address the elephant in the room once again. I am still sick, so I do apologise if I do sound congested and nasally in this video. I wanted to sit down and talk about the team changes that were made last night. I was going to film last night and then just thought, I'm so emotional. It's probably not worth it. I did jump on and do an Instagram live. I had a chat with some of you guys. Thank you to everyone who did jump on. That was really fun and we had some really good feedback. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again soon. I feel like there was no way I couldn't make a video about the team changes heading into this week's game. So here I am, block nose and all. I do apologise if I do sound a bit ridiculous. I will soldier through and hopefully you guys still enjoy the video and enjoy the content and the block nose and congestedness that comes along with it. Before we jump into the video as well, I just want to say thank you so much everyone who watched the preview yesterday, dropped with Ant from the pair. We got some great feedback. I haven't had too many opposition fans on the channel for a while, so it's great to have Ant on, and we'll definitely look to bring some more guests onto the channel as the season goes on. Plenty planned. We'll save that for another day. Let's just get straight into the final word and let's just talk about the team changes, because everyone's talking about the team changes that we have made heading into tomorrow's game against Port Adelaide.
We are joined by Kanga TV's own. She would take a bullet for Aidan Corr, I heard, just before. Marnie Cohen, thank you so much for jumping on.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I don't know if you wanted me to say that part, but you love Aidan Corr. I can see the badge over there as well.
It's not the first time I have said that, so I guess if you want to say it again, it's...
Yeah, that's fine. I thought you were going to say it's not the first time you've taken a bullet for someone, but that'd be pretty
I've
cool.
taken many metaphorical bullets for that man
Yeah,
in
very
the past
good.
18 months. It's fine.
I know no one, no, not no one, but I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me and the tangent I'm about to go on when it comes to Aidan Corr, and I completely understand. I know Aidan definitely hasn't had the best start to season 2025. I think last season he was outstanding. He was the only consistency in that backline, and he basically held that backline from a key position perspective together for majority of the season last year. Played every game. He had some great moments and some great individual moments and really shut down some of the game's most dangerous key forwards. Hasn't had a great start to season 2025. I'm not going to deny that. Do I think that it's warranted for him to be dropped? Probably not, as I think that he is the fall guy for issues that are bigger than him at North Melbourne on field at the moment. For those who missed the news last night, judging by that opening speech, Aidan Corr is one of 3 players that have been dropped ahead of tomorrow's game against Port Adelaide. Griffin Logue has also been dropped, and Zach Fisher is injured. In comes Callan Dawson, Riley Hardiman, and Jackson Archer returns from suspension and injury. Everyone knows I love Aidan Corr. He's one of my favourite players, one of my favourite people. None of the criticism is personal, and I completely understand that. I just feel like he is like I said, the fall guy for an issue that's bigger at North. He's been the only consistent defender, lockdown key defender. Charlie Comben's been in and out, but he played most of last season, and he's had a good start to the year, Charlie Comben as well. But he's more of that hybrid sort of intercept defender, and that's kind of his strength and what he does. He's not a lockdown one-on-one defender. I just think Aidan Corr, like I said, I think he's the fall guy for a bigger issue at North. I think we have minimal defensive blueprint across our entire game plan, particularly higher up the ground. And when the ball comes in at such a frenetic pace and with such ease, there's only going to be so much that he can stop, along with Logue or Chom or, Luke McDonald, all these guys. I think our backline is not full of stars. I'm not going to beat around the bush and say that. We don't have any A-grade defenders. Aidan Corr's not an A-grade defender, and I've never come here and said that he is. I think now that he's got some consistency in his body, was hampered with injury in his first few seasons at North, and last season he really was able to shine and really make a big impact on this backline where he wasn't able to before due to, being hampered with injury and inconsistency in his own game. He did injure himself over the off-season. He had a finger injury. He did come back late, but it didn't seem to worry him. And I think he's done some good things, but he's also done some not great things. And like I said, I'm not going to deny that. But how much of this is solely on him and how much of this is a bigger issue limited help from Griffin Logue. Griffin Logue, is he fit? Is he not fit? That's the first question I have. If he is fit, he's not in form. He's playing not that well. He's been in and out of the side to start the season. Toby Pink played a couple of games and then he was dropped when Logue came back. That as well is disruption. There's just so much going on in this backline, and yes, the backline hasn't been able to hold up well, but how much of this is the backline and then how much of this is a lack of defensive pressure from further afield? Because surprise, surprise, we didn't have this issue when we played the Ds, and we haven't had this issue at other parts of the game. And the reason why we haven't had this issue previously is because we have had defensive pressure from further up the ground. And I don't know if this is the right move or not. And the only way we're going to find out if it is the right move is waiting to see what happens on field. There's nothing else I can really say about that. I like that we're trying something different. Don't get me wrong. I said in my video after Good Friday, nothing changes if nothing changes. And we've made a massive change. Like, we have basically ripped our backline apart. We've got Riley Hardiman in. He's going to inject a little bit more pace and a little bit more speed. The inclusion of Jackson Archer not only strengthens our backline from a defensive perspective, but it may also unlock Darcy Tucker and a move further afield. Connor Rosie has been game-changing for Port Adelaide in the last 2 weeks, and did touch on this in our preview video yesterday. He said that Connor Rosie moving to halfback has been unbelievable for Port, and potentially we'll look to put Darcy Tucker on him in this negating role. That might help with defensive pressure further afield, but still, the midfield is still a problem in terms of defensive pressure. And you know what? The frustrating part about it is it's not the fact that Will Phillips isn't playing and that's why we're not, able to do this. It's just the fact that the guys who are in there aren't doing enough. Because when we played the Ds, we saw it. I came on here and I've said literally for 3 days after we beat the Ds that Luke Davies-Uniacke performance against the Ds is one of the best, if not the best performance I've ever seen from him as a North Melbourne player. And what impressed me so much was actually the defensive element of his game that he brought. He was tackling everyone. He was angry. He was a man on a mission. That's actually what we need. We know these guys are capable of doing it. So why aren't they doing it? We know they can. So why aren't they? Do they not want to do it? Are they scared? I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if you guys have any suggestions, but I've seen them do it with my own eyes multiple times. It's what is going on here? It's crazy. Anyway, I don't know. The backline hasn't been great, obviously. We've lost our last 3 games by an average margin of 10 goals. So I'm not naive to the fact that changes needed to happen. And I also have said multiple times I don't believe in making changes for the sake of making changes. So we had 1 forced change and 2 unforced changes. That's enough. They're just massive changes to make. And for a backline that has struggled for the better part of 18 months to get any consistency and get any continuity and to just build a little bit of synergy between them, taking out the 2 supposed key men of this backline, one of whom has held that backline together for this entire 18-month period, just sort of baffles me a little bit. From a structural point of view, it does make sense. Mitch Georgiades kind of is Port Adelaide's only real threatening key forward, and I have no doubt that Callan Dawson, it's a huge task for Callan Dawson and a big test, but I actually back him in. I am really looking forward to seeing Callan Dawson in, and that's where I'm torn as well, because I love Callan Dawson, and I love Riley Hardiman, and I think both of them will add something to this back line. But if we're going to try it, now is probably the time to try it, to be honest. Callan Dawson, I think, like I said, a big challenge. I think he can rise to it. I would back him in. And then Jackson Archer will come in. Obviously, Port's small forwards have been running amok the past few weeks, and they've been the ones sort of winning the game. You've got Sam Powell-Pepper. You've got Willie Rioli. These guys, they've been live wires. So I'm really interested to see structurally how we line up and if we are strong enough in the middle of the ground and defensively to stop Port Adelaide. Our defense and their defense are the 2 weakest parts in the game. So in my mind, this game is won in the middle of the ground. And Carlton absolutely annihilated us in the middle of the ground last week. Sherry won the hitouts, but Carlton won the centre clearances 10-20. They doubled our centre clearances for a team whose entire game plan seems to be built around winning the ball in the centre of the ground. You've got to win the ball in the centre of the ground. There's no excuses here. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited that we pulled a trigger. Do I think it was the right move? Maybe, maybe not, and only time's going to tell. But at the end of the day, I'm just one person giving an opinion and putting my name and my face to my opinion. I'm not a selector. I don't involve myself in the inner sanctum of the club. I have no idea. I have just as much of an idea and just as much of an opinion as everybody else watching at home. I just share them on a platform on a week-to-week basis and interact with you guys about it. And I know people are going to crucify me and say that Aidan Corr's been terrible and he should have been dropped. You know what? I'm just going to disagree with you this one time, because I just think he is a victim of circumstance and he's a victim of a system that has been failing us for quite some time now. I'm obviously happy to be proven wrong. And if it works tomorrow and if we come out and have this emphatic win against all odds, amazing. I'll be thrilled. But also in the back of my mind, I know that we have a 5-day turnaround to get back to Melbourne and play the Bombers on Thursday night. And they've got a very tall, very dangerous, dynamic forward line. And Aidan Corr did an incredible lockdown job on Kyle Langford last year. And so I'm almost expecting him to be recalled against the Bombers. And I just hope that it's half of a statement being made and half of a bit of a rest and letting him just give himself a week to recoup and recover and get ready to go again on Thursday night. How we go in this game, I don't know, and I don't even want to let myself think about it. I know that just sounds negative, but it's very hard to look at this fixture and think we're going to get anywhere near it. We haven't beaten Port Adelaide since 2019. We are 0-12 at Adelaide Oval. We haven't won a game in Adelaide, I think, for like 15 years. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and on the back of the last 3 weeks, you just hope that there is some sort of fight and some sort of hunger when we cross that line at Adelaide Oval tomorrow afternoon. Because like I said, I've said this, I don't even want to think about what happens if there's another result like we've had in the last 3 weeks. I don't even let my mind wander. I'm actually just thinking nothing. I'm just going to let myself approach this game, watch it at home with my cough mixture and a Diet Coke. As you all know, that's my iconic football watching companion, a Diet Coke, and just see how we go and hope for the best. To finish off on a lighter, more wholesome note, congratulations to Luke Parker, who will play game 300 tomorrow. He's had quite the impact on North on-field and off-field since coming over to Arden Street at the end of last season. I love Luke Parker. He's an amazing person. He's been a really, really great teacher and a really, really great leader for the young guys, particularly off the field. I think on-field, he always goes about his job really, really well. Some weeks he has a bigger impact than others, but I do always feel his presence, and I do feel like we are walking a little bit taller with him in the side. And you guys know North love a milestone, so maybe they'll get up for Luke Parker 300 the same way they got up for JD against the Ds in round 2. Like I said, it's been a pleasure having Parks on board, even though it's such a short amount of time. He's had a massive impact on the club and the players and the fans alike. So maybe we'll be able to do it for him, and hopefully he goes well in game 300. That's all I have to say. What do you guys think about the team changes heading into tomorrow's clash against Port Adelaide? Leave all your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you to everyone who did tune into the live on Instagram last night. Thank you to everyone who has sent me messages over the past 24 hours, in the last week in particular. It's been a massive week for all North supporters, and it's best if we can just stick together and ride the wave together. I hope that we are catching up in a couple of days' time on the back of a very, very big win, a very, very big surprise win for North at Adelaide Oval, and hopefully get season 2025 back on track. Have a wonderful Anzac Day. I will see you all on Sunday. Go Roos.